Hello guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, we will be solving some guided exercise and labs from chapter 6 managing local users and groups under the course Red Hat System Administration 1 8.2. So in this exercise, we will practice uh, like switching to root user account and running commands as root. And in next sections, we will solve other guided exercises and labs. So let's get started. So first of all, I need to set up the lab environment. For that, I will execute this command lab users start. Okay, then we will SSH into server A as a student user to perform and complete the guided exercise. Okay, now our first task is to explore the shell environment of student user. Like we will view the current user and group information and display the current working directory. We will also view the environment variables that specify the user's home directory and the location of the user's executables. So first we will run id command to view the current user and group information. Okay, so we can see the UID, GID groups the student user is associated with part. Okay, then we will run pwd command to view the working directory, current working directory. Then we will print values of home and path variables, determine the home directory and users executables path respectively. As you can see, this is the value of home variable. Then this is the value of path variable. So after that, we will switch to root in a non-logging shell and explore the new shell environments. Okay, so we will use sudo su. Okay, so now we are root user. We will run id command. So as you can see, the UID of the root user is 0, GID is 0, and the groups is root. Then we will use pwd command to view the current working directory, which is home and student. Then we will print the values of home and path variables to determine the home directory, any users and executables path. Okay, so for that we will use echo. Then we will use path. Yes. So if you observe the okay, then now we will exit. Okay, so the difference is that we did not run su command directly. Instead, we ran su as root using sudo because we did not possess the password of the super user. Okay, the sudo command initially overrides the path variable from the initial environment for security reasons. Any command that runs after the initial override can still update the path variable, as we will see in the following steps. Okay, so now we will exit as a student, as a root user. Now back as a student user in server A. Now we will run sudo su with a hyphen command. Okay. Now we will run the id command. Now as you can see, the UID GID of the root user and the pwd command to view the current working directory. Then we will view the value of home and path variables, okay, which is root. And okay, then so as you can see, the sudo After sudo reset the path variable from the settings in the student user's shell environment, the su dash command ran the shell login scripts for root and set the path variable to yet another value. The su command without the dash option did not do that. Now we will exit as a root user. Okay, so now we will verify that the operator one user is configured to run as any command as any user using sudo. Okay, so we will use sudo. We will cat into xc sudoers dot d, then operator one. Okay, so we just cat into the sudoers operator one file under sudoers dot d directory, and now we will become operator one user and view the contents of slash where slash log slash messages directory, and then we will copy the slash hc. Okay, so now we will switch to the operator one user. So now we will attempt to view the last 5 lines of messages file under slash where slash under the slash where slash log directory without using the sudo, and this should fail because we are not using sudo and we are performing this task as operator one user. See, it's saying cannot open the file for reading, permission denied. So now we will use sudo command and we will enter the password and see. Now it's working fine. So now we will attempt to view the last 5 lines. Okay, so we have did that, and then we will attempt to make a copy of slash hc slash motd as slash hc slash motd old without using sudo. Let's do that. And it's not working, permission denied, so we will use sudo command. Yes, now we so now we will delete the newly created file which is motd old without using sudo. Okay, let's see. Now it shouldn't work. Okay, we will enter y and see it's saying permission denied, so now we will use sudo, and yeah, it worked. So now yeah, so this was the tasks from first guided exercise, which is gaining super user access. Okay, so now we will exit. Yeah, done. So we will continue the next guided exercise. So now in this section, we will solve the guided exercise managing local user accounts, and we will create several users on our system and set password for those users. Okay, so first of all, we have to run a custom command to set up our environment for this guided exercise. Okay, so now we will SSH into server A as a student user. Okay, now uh, so uh, we will switch to root user using sudo and converting to the root user's shell environment. Okay, so the password, we will enter the password. Okay, so now after that we will create the operator one user and confirm that it exists in the system. So we will use user add command to add the new user, which name is operator 1. Okay, now we will just tell into see password file. Okay, so as you can see, the operator 1 user is present here. It means it exists in the system. Okay, so now we will set the password for operator 1. Okay, so for that we will use password command and the username. So we will set the password. Okay, so the password is set successfully. Now we will create the additional users called operator 2 and operator 3. We will also set their password. Okay, so for that we have to first use user add command to create new users. Okay, and same for operator 3. Then we will add, so we have to configure the password for both the users which we created just now. Yes, so again for the operator 3 user we will set the password. Yes, done. So now we will update the operator 1 and operator 2 user accounts to include the operator 1 and operator 2 comments, okay, respectively, and we will verify that the comments are successfully added or not. So we will use user mod command and with the C option to add the comments. Okay, so operator 1 and the user for which we want to add the comments. Yes, done. So now we will perform same task for operator 2. Done. So now we will confirm that the comments for each of the operator 1 and operator 2 users are reflected in the user records. Okay, so we will again tell into HC password file, and if you can see the comments are added here. Okay, so operator 2, operator 1 respective to their username. Okay, so now we will delete the operator 3 user along with any personal data of the user, and we will confirm that the user is successfully deleted. So first of all we will remove the operator 3 from the system using user del command and with R option, and we will specify the username which is operator 3. Yeah, so now we will confirm that operator 3 is successfully deleted. Yeah, so operator 3 user is not present in this list, so it is deleted. Then we will exit from as a root user. So we have performed all the tasks in this guided exercise successfully. Yes, so we will exit, and then we will run this command to finish the lab. Yeah, so in the next section, we will solve another guided exercises from this chapter. In this section, we will solve guided exercise managing local group accounts. And so in this exercise, we will create groups, then use them as supplementary groups for some users without changing those users' primary groups, and configure one of the groups with sudo access to run command as root. Okay, so first of all, we will set up the environment for this guided exercise using a custom command. Then we will student SSH into server A as a student user. Okay, so now on server A, we will switch to root user using sudo, inheriting the full environment of the root user. Okay, sudo su dash, then yeah, we will enter the password for sudo. Yes, now as a root user, we will create operators supplementary group with the GID of 30,000. So we will use group add command, the option. Okay, then we will specify the GID as 30,000 and then the group name, which is operators. Okay, so now we will create admin as an additional supplementary group. Okay, so we will use again group add command with the group name, which is admin. Now we will verify that both the operators and admin supplementary group exists. So for that we will tell into hc group file, and so both of our groups that we created exist here. So both of the group that we created just now exists here. Okay, so it means they have been created in the system. So now we will ensure that the users operator 1, operator 2 and operator 3 belong to the group operators. So for that we will add operator 1, operator 2 and operator 3 to operators group. So again we will use user mod command to append the user in the specified group. So for that we will use A and capital G option with user mod command, and then the group name in which we want to add the user and the username, which is operator 1. Okay, now we'll perform same task for operator 2 and operator 3. Okay, now we'll confirm that the users are successfully added to the group or not. So for that we will use id command and particular username. Okay, so as you can see in the groups, the supplementary group operator 1 is also there. So this user operator 1 also belongs to operators group, which is a supplementary group that we just modified or configured. Okay, so again same for operator 2, and here the operators group, uh, so the operator 2 user is a part is a member of operators group. Okay, where operators group is a supplementary group for operator 2 user, and same for operator 3 as well. So operator 3 user also belongs to operators group, which is supplementary group for operator 3 user, and the primary group is operator 3 for operator 3 user. Okay, so now we will examine the hc/group file to verify the supplemental group memberships. Okay, so again we will tell into hc group. So the operators group has three members: operator 1, operator 2 and operator 3. Okay, now we will create uh, a file name as admin in /hc/sudoers_d directory, such that the members of the admin have full administrative privileges. So we have to create that file and save that file in the sudoers.d directory. So, and we have also have to add some configuration details in that file. So we will use echo command, and then we will specify the content or configuration that we want to mention in the admin file name. So the name of the group with percentage sign, then all equals to all, then again all. Okay, and we will append this to hc sudoers.d admin file. So if the new file will be created with the name admin, and it will contain the following configuration details. So now we will switch to sysadmin1 user, which is a member of admin group, and we will verify that we can run sudo command as sysadmin1 user. Okay, so we will switch to sysadmin1 user. Okay, now as a sysadmin1 user, we will verify that we can run a sudo command. Okay, so let's say I will run sudo cat hc sudoers.d, then admin. We will view the content of admin file. Okay, so we'll enter the password and okay, okay, okay. So first of all, we will check whether this admin one. Okay, okay. So as you can see, the sysadmin ones is not a member of admin group, so that's why we are not able to perform this action. So what we will do, uh, we will okay, so we will ensure that users like sysadmin1, sysadmin2, and sysadmin3 belong to the group admin, and then we will enable administrative rights for the group members of admin, and we will verify that the member of admin can run administrative commands. So what we will do, we will add sysadmin1, sysadmin2, and sysadmin3 to the admin group. So again, we have to, okay, so first we will view the whether the users exist or not. Yeah, so the users exist, so we just have to modify the users property. So we'll use user mod append to group, then group name and the username, which is this admin one. Okay, so we have to perform this as a root user. Okay, so user mod append to group name, which is admin, and the username, which is sys admin. Done. Then same for sysadmin 2, and same for sysadmin 3. Then we will confirm that whether the property is updated or not by using id command and with the username, which is sysadmin 1, and the admin group is a supplementary group for these users. So for this sysadmin 1 user, so same for sysadmin 2 and same for sysadmin 3. Okay. Now we will also examine the HC group file to verify the supplemental group membership. Tell HC group. Yes. So as you can see, sysadmin 1, sysadmin 2, and sysadmin 3 are member of admin group. So now So as we have already created the admin file in sudos.d directory, so we will just switch to admin1 user. Okay, and then we will try to use sudo command and verify that whether the sysadmin1, sysadmin2 and sysadmin3 have administrative privileges to use sudo or not. Okay, so mm, and as you can see, the content is or the configuration is uh, displayed on the terminal. Okay, so that's it from this section. In the next section we will solve again one more guided exercise and then one lab. So in this section we will solve one guided exercise from chapter 6, okay, which is managing user passwords. And in this exercise we will set password policies for several users. So first of all we will execute one custom command to set up our environment for this guided exercise, and then we will SSH into server A as a student user. Okay, then uh, so like as a student user we will lock the operator one account using administrative rights. So how we can do that? So like we will use sudo user mod, okay, with option capital L and the name of the user, which is operator 1. Okay, so the dash L, capital L option stands for locking or lock to lock the specified user, and we'll enter the password. Okay, so we will attempt to log in as operator 1 user, and we will verify whether the previous command worked or not. So this should fail because we have logged the operator 1 user. So now we will just try to log in as operator 1 user, and let's say I enter the password. Like I have entered the correct password, but then also it's showing authentication failure. So again I will try and enter the correct password. Again it will show the same or similar message. Again I will try one last time. So again still this similar message. Okay, so it means we can't log in as operator 1 user because it is already locked. So now we will unlock the operator 1 account. Okay, then we will use sudo user mod command with capital U option to unlock the user, which is operator 1. Okay, so now if we try to log in as operator 1, and yeah, so now I am currently logged in as operator 1, and it's also showing that there were 4 failed login attempts since the last successful login. Okay, now we will exit as operator 1 student, and then we will change the password policy for operator 1 to require a new password every 90 days. Confirm. Then we also confirm that the password age is successfully set or not. So first of all we will set the maximum age of the operator 1 user's password to 90 days. So for that we will use sudo and check command with capital M option as option, and then the days, okay, 90 days, and the username. Okay, So we will just verify that the operator one user's password expires 90 days after it changed or not. So for that, we will use sudo peg with L option and the username. So as you can see, maximum number of days between password change. So it is mentioned as 90. So now we will force a password change on the first login of the operator one account. So for that, we will use again a command with D option and okay, so 0 operator 1. So let's now we will log in as operator 1 and change the password. Okay, after setting the password, we will return to the student user shell. So let's say then we'll enter the password. Okay, okay, so now it's saying you are required to change your password immediately. So administrator enforced. So we will enter the current password first, then the new password, and again retype the new password. Okay, done. So now we will exit as operator one student, okay, operator one user. So now we will set the operator one account to expire 180 days from the current day. Uh, so we will determine the current date. Okay, so we will determine a date 180 days in the future. For that we will use the date command with capital F option or with uh, D option. Okay, so date then so like how many, so we will specify the future date. So after 180 days, what will be the date? Okay, in days format. Okay, so so the date will be 26/9/2024 after 180 days of our current date. Okay, so now we will set the account to expire on the date displayed in the preceding step. Okay, we will again use take command with capital E option and we'll specify the date which is 2024 9 26, then the username. Done. So now we'll verify the account expiry date is successfully set or not. For that we will use take command with L option and the user name. So as you can see, the date that I mentioned here, which was 9th September 26th 2024, it's mentioned here also. So like account will expire on this date. Okay, now we'll set the passwords to expire 180 days from the current date for all users. Okay, so we'll use administrative rights to edit the configuration file. Okay, so for that, so what we will set the pass underscore max underscore days to 180 in the /etc/login.defs file. We will use administrative rights when opening the file with the text editor. Okay, so we will use sudo vim /etc/login.def. Okay, so here we'll search for pass underscore max underscore days. Okay, now here it's very huge number is present. We will edit this and we will enter 180. Okay, so like after 180 days, all users should change their password, or their password will be expired and they need to change the password. We'll save that file. Okay. So one note to remember is the default password and account expiry settings will be effective for new users but not for existing users. Okay, now we will just log out from server A back to workstation. We will run one customer. So we will run one custom command to complete the guided exercise. Yeah. In this section, we will solve the lab named as managing local users and groups. And so in this lab, we will set a default local password policy. We'll create a supplementary group for the users and allow that group to use sudo to run command as root and modify the password policy for one user. So to set up this lab, we have to execute one custom command, and then we will SSH into server B as a student user. So then on server B, we will ensure that newly created users have passwords that must be changed every 30 days. Okay. So for that, we will edit one file. So to so for that, we will edit one file using Vim editor, which is hc, uh, which is in hc, and the name of the file is logging.test. Okay. Then we will enter the password. And here we have to change one value, which is pass underscore max underscore days to 30. Okay, so pass underscore max underscore days is stands for maximum number of days a password may be used. So after every 30 days, the password change policy will occur and users have to change their password. Okay, then next task is to create new group called consultants with the GID 35,000. So for that we will use sudo group add, then with option G, we will specify the GID that we want, and then the group name, consultants. Okay, so we will verify whether the group is created or not using sudo see. Okay, we think we have to get yes, so consultants groups exist. Okay, now we will configure the administrative rights for all members of consultants group to be able to execute any command as any user. Okay, so for that uh, we will create one new file. Okay, so okay, let's see. Then and in that file we will add some configuration lines. Okay, done. And we will create consultant 1, consultant 2 and consultant 3 users with consultants as their supplementary group. Okay, so for that we will use user add command with capital G option. Okay, then we will specify the group name and the username. So these users will have their supplementary group as consultants. Okay. Now again for okay. So then consultant 2, then consultant 3. Okay. Now in one command we created the consultant 3 user and also added that user in the consultants group as a supplement group. Okay, so now we will set consultant 1, consultant 2 and consultant 3 account to expire, okay, in 90 days from the current date. So for that, first of all we use date command and so we will view the date of 90 days in future in reference to the current date. Okay. Use so so now we will use check command with capital E option and we'll specify that date here which we received from date command. Okay, and then the username to which we want to enforce this policy of account expiry date. Okay, then same for consultant 2 and same for consultant 3. Okay, now we will change the password policy for the consultant 2 account to require a new password every 15 days. So for that we will again use check command with capital M option. Okay, and then we will specify the days that account requires a new password and then the account name or username. Done. So now we will additionally force consultant 1, 2 and 3 users to change their password on their first login. So for that again we will use check command with D option 0. So on their next login they have to change their password. Same for consultant 2 and same for consultant 3. Okay. So now we will exit from server B back to workstation. Then we will grade this lab. Then we will finish this lab. Okay, done. So thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider hitting on like button and subscribing my channel for such more awesome content.